I'm in Max. You are listening to Happy Jack's RPG Podcast. I'm in Max. Pursuing the RPG hobby with reckless abandon. Why, hello.
Hello.
Wow, really loud. And welcome to Season 25, Episode 3 of Happy Jack's RPG Podcast. My name is Stu.
My name is Kimmy.
And I'm Tappy.
And this episode of Happy Jack's RPG Podcast is sponsored by EasyRollerDice.com.
Yes.
And I'm checking right now to see if I have what I need.
They are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are.
Wait, is Easy Rider the one where everybody
Easy
dies
Roller.
at the
Easy
end?
Roller.
Yeah, but Easy Rider, is that the one where everybody dies at the end?
Easy Rider.
I don't know.
Isn't that a movie, like,
Yeah,
like motorcycles and shit?
I think so.
We are also right now doing a giveaway of some really cool Easy Roller merchandise. So if you go to happyjacks.com/giveaway, we are giving away some awesome dice trays that they have given us previously. So if you go participate in that, you can like our channels and retweet stuff to get entries to get some of the other of their very cool merchandise because they are fantastic. And it's the dice tray that I use for like all our games it's got the little staging area around the edge. Mm-hmm. So like I keep all the dice there and then you can roll it in there.
It is my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
Dice tray.
Dice tray / dice bag, dice carrier. Because mine, I just carry it around with me.
It is everything.
Yeah.
All right. So right now, Easy Roller Dice has a Kickstarter, and of course now my computer is. There it is. Okay. They have a Kickstarter for their reversible self-standing dice bag series,
Nice.
and there's 11 different designs.
Mm-hmm.
Did they give me? They didn't give me a link.
They did, probably. I think we retweeted them the other day.
I did, but that's the huge link. They usually give me a mini link. I'll make a mini link.
Okay.
So happyjacks.org/Easy Roller Dice Bags.
No, it should
All
be
one
like
word, all lowercase.
Standing bags. I don't know.
I already said that.
Okay, fine.
happyjacks.org/Easy Roller Dice Bags. And you can check them out. And let's see, I'm trying to see where they are right now.
Yes. They're very cool. I was looking at them online when you tweeted the link. And like they've got cool colors, they're reversible. They're very nice.
Do you have standing stones on them?
No, the bottom is flat.
Yeah.
So you can stand it up.
Yeah. Which is...
No, I mean like a picture of a standing stone, like the men here or whatever.
If my internet works a little faster, I will tell you what designs they have.
Oh, okay. I would like to know.
I think they had the Raven design that they have on the dice trays. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of them are the same. There's like the Spellbook one. There's the Raven design, which I'm partial to because it's purple and super cool.
And Raven.
Yeah, she's the best. And then there's the Wolf one. That's like the silver like wolf design. And there's a Cthulhu one too that's green with squid head on it. And yeah, they're very cool. I think I saw most of those at the same. But yeah, they're very cool. I like the fact that there's the dice bags that stand because I hate like the round ones they start rolling around
And all your dice fall out, and they get mingled with Stork's dice. And next thing you know,
then you're doomed.
you have a curse on your dice.
Doomed.
Well, I'll mention it again in the middle of the show because it's still loading. For
Okay.
some reason. Their Kickstarter is so slammed right now.
Yes.
I can't load.
Probably.
All right. In this episode of Happy Jack's RPG Podcast, Ian from the UK writes in about a PC turned big bad. Vi or VY writes in about the HIPPA friendly GM issue. You may remember that from a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And Alan from Knoxville asked for email text-based RPG advice. Mm-hmm. But first, if you would like to email us, you can email us at happyjacksrpg@gmail.com, which we have access to. Mm-hmm. happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. We are on many social medias. We have a forum, happyjacksforum.com. That's happyjacksforum.com. Mm-hmm. Twitter, happyjacksrpg, all one word, which we have access to.
Skippy.
Instagram, happyjacksrpg, all one word. Facebook, happyjacksrpg, all one word. Mm-hmm. And MeWe, happyjacksrpg, all one word. Yeah. And Twitter, happyjacksrpg, all one word, which we have access to.
Again, I'm sorry.
We were locked out of it for
a lot of this week.
3 days,
We
4
were
days.
very stressed out.
4 days. Well, we were locked out of the email account for months.
No, you were.
I was.
I had access. Everything was fine.
But then they sent me a security thing.
I know, and then you reset the password, and I stopped having access.
Didn't I give you
And
the
then
password?
no one had access.
Didn't I give you the?
You did.
Oh, I did. Okay. Well, it made me change the password.
Yeah, I know.
I think it made me change the
It did.
password. But it said, "Is this your cell phone number?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's my cell phone number. That's the one you're supposed to be sending
Thanks
text to
to.
with my access code to get back
Yeah.
into it." And I'm not getting any of the texts.
Yeah.
But I know it's my cell phone number.
Yeah, it's right there.
And this same thing happened with Twitter.
Yeah.
It's an SMS thing, I think.
It is, yeah. It's a thing. So for going back to the Easy Roller Dice, I was wrong. I was remembering differently the designs on them. They've got the cool, like, dragon eating its tail with, like, the Celtic symbol. They've got, like, a sword with some very cool,
Oh, the
like, flame
Ouroboros,
designs.
yeah.
They're very cool.
There's a cool sword one.
Yeah, the cool sword one. I like the like traditional dragon breathing fire is really neat. And yeah, they've done a great job. It's already
It's funded.
Yeah, it's totally funded, so they're definitely going to do it. And they're very nifty. Gonna have to get me some of those. Those are pretty cool.
And then, oh, there it goes. It's back again.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what are their stretch goals? And is that a lion's head or is that a dragon? That looks like a lion.
Might be a lot.
No, it is. It's a there's a lion dice bag.
Oh, yeah.
There's Ouroboros, Assassin's Blades.
Yeah, those are like the
That's
double
pretty slick.
daggers. That one's pretty slick. I like that one the best.
There's a mace design, not like a can of, but
Like
a
the herb, right?
A hitty mace.
Yeah.
Like the
The
thing you
herb?
make.
that little stuff.
Yeah.
Dragon's breath.
That's a great shotgun round.
That is a.
Actually, it's a shell, but
And then there's a cleric one with an ankh, kind of a
Yeah.
Celtic
Oh,
ankh.
yeah. I really like the mace one, actually. That one's cool.
Yeah, it's neat looking. And then there's a gauntlet, and then there's the Celtic knot dragon. God, who
See,
designs
they
it?
do have the spellbook one. That was one on one of their dice trays too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That one unlocks
With the
at
Tree of Life.
$17,000 if they get there.
Very Celtic-y.
Yeah, I really like that one.
I like our listeners. I'm enjoying these descriptions.
And then you already said the helmet. Oh, and let's see.
All right, I want the spellbook one, so let's get them to $17,000.
17,000. Okay,
Yeah, that's
all right.
the goal.
I'll send them that tonight.
Big podcast money.
All right.
All right,
Just take the 17,000 they just sent us. We're good.
There, yeah, from the
Yeah.
advertising campaign.
that's how that works.
All right.
This devolves into a shopping trip like every one of our favorite games.
Right. PC turned big bad from Ian in the UK. Hello, Happy Jack's crew. I wanted to write in about a recent gaming success story about a campaign I ran that recently ended. As we approach the final arc, one of the PCs, I'll call him A. Oh, come on, give him a name. Abercrombie.
Yeah, I was about to do that. Abercrombie is good.
Underwent an interesting character arc in which they spiraled into isolation, paranoia, and religious extremism. As a rift grew between Abercrombie and the other PCs regarding Abercrombie's ruthless, pragmatic, and often morally dubious actions, Abercrombie's player came to me saying that they were pretty sure Abercrombie was shaping up to be the big bad of the campaign. At which point I dropped my actual planned finale for this juicy new direction for the game. Since it was near the end of the campaign, I would have been fine with Abercrombie's player still controlling them and shifting the game to be PvP focused. But since the player was finding it a bit less fun to inhabit Abercrombie's headspace, they elected to switch to controlling an NPC instead. Their last acts before handing Abercrombie over to me was to arrange a string of political assassinations behind the other PC's backs, culminating in them blowing up a church. I won't lie and say I wasn't a little pleased by another player's distraught "No!" as they realized everyone's favorite NPC had perished off-screen rescuing people from the collapsing building. Over the course of the next arc, the players unraveled Abercrombie's plans, alternately shocked by their actions and sympathetic to the tragic elements of their character. I had Abercrombie undergo some severe character development, in part because I had some fun ideas of what to do with them, and in particular because I was a bit nervous about portraying them accurately. So it was really rewarding when Abercrombie's former player told me they really liked how I had depicted them. One of the major emergent themes of the campaign was redemption, with many of the PCs trying to atone for their misdeeds and grappling with when to show people forgiveness and understanding. Thus, I felt it appropriate for the finale to consist of the PCs desperately struggling to non-violently talk down their former friend while harried by opponents who knew all their strengths and weaknesses. It was awesome. My question is, have you ever had PCs turn into an antagonist for the party, or even the big bad? And if so, how did you handle it? Also, I sent an email a while ago that I think your inbox might have eaten, but the gist of it is that Lady Blackbird is my favorite game to introduce new players to tabletop RPGs with. It comes with really interesting pre-made characters, while also making it easy to adapt and alter said characters during play. Moreover, the mechanics organically encourage the players to be proactive and develop their characters and the setting, which are good things to foster in a newbie. I saw in your actual play feed that some of you played Lady Blackbird and would love to hear your thoughts. I was not one of those people. Anyway, one of my players has now invited me to her Monster of the Week game,
Woohoo!
And I am so ready to try PBTA games for the first time. Just reading the playbooks makes me excited to make a character. Kind regards, Ian from the UK. Enigmatic Ziggy on the forum if I'm ever there. On there. Ever on there.
Yay!
No, I have to look that game up. I haven't even played that.
Oh, Lady Blackbird?
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I've heard a lot about it, but I've never actually played it. The PCs becoming antagonists. I had one who I retired that would have been used as an antagonist. I'm almost certain had the campaign not petered off. Mm-hmm. That was it, and I've mentioned it many times before. It was Oppenheimer from Bill's Champions game back in the late '90s, and he was a hardcore, almost psychotic vigilante who basically went out and he had radiation powers. He went out and beat up and irradiated teenagers who were trying to take purses off the street corners from old ladies, and almost killed, or maybe did kill. I don't quite remember, but he was harsh. And the whole time there's this political sub game going on because we're now organizing a superhero team in the city. It was the city. I don't remember what it was supposed to be. It was just a generic metropolis, and so other player characters are having talks with the mayor and the city council and trying to make sure and see what the limits are going to be and how we're going to be. Are we going to be integrated into law enforcement, or all this stuff's going on? Meanwhile, me and one of the other player characters were like, I don't have enough talking. Let's go out and fight crime. And so off we go, and we blast these people and send them into the IC unit, and that we had a big blow up between the sort of leader of our supergroup and my character, and it was awesome. It was standing up, screaming in character, having this big philosophical argument about what the fuck are we doing here? Are we here to kick ass and take names, or So and then at the end of it, the guy who was playing the other character is like, I don't know if these two characters would stay in the same group. I'm like, I agree with you. Yeah. And I took my character sheet and I handed it to Bill and I said, you can use him as a villain at some point. I'll make another character. I'll make a mute who doesn't talk.
Those are so annoying to play.
Right, yes they are. But I didn't... he never surfaced because the game only ran another couple sessions. But he probably would have at some point. But that's as close as I got to having an actual PC turn into an antagonist.
We did in L5R games sometimes, if somebody was a Scorpion or we were all playing Scorpions.
Oh, I can see that easy.
Which is, a lot of Scorpion games are great because everybody's we don't care about our honor, we're doing stuff for the Emperor.
Right.
But sometimes one of the players goes, but what if turned on all of you guys? Sometimes that's fun, sometimes it's just annoying.
Right.
In my Apocalypse World game, in the first Apocalypse World game I played, I had two players who they'd never seen Mad Max for whatever reason.
Oh, wow.
The original?
The Road Warrior. The second one.
Second one, okay.
And they made, like, the gay couple that were on the bike. They essentially, like, do you remember that? With, like, the one guy has the mohawk, and then he has the...
That's the one where they have the gas hauler?
I think so. It's the one that...
And they're trying, he says,
huge dude
I
with
know
the
where I can find a truck.
fucking mask on.
Yeah, but it's like a compound
Yeah.
that they're attacking. Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
I remember that one. Not Who Run Bartertown.
No, okay. that's the third one.
Right.
Yeah.
Beyond Thunder.
So they one of them was new to role playing, and she made a brainer, which are like weird psychic things, and she played this character very weird, and was just kind of weird to the other players. So the other players were like, okay. And so she kind of like went on her own like metaphysical journey, ending up dying and becoming a mask that had its own metaphysical journey. That was really weird and fucked up. And then her character's boyfriend, Man, who was the manliest man that had ever manned, like ended up becoming just kind of isolated from the rest of the party, because the rest of the party is going, oh, undead mask of your former boyfriend that talks to you. This is not something we're interested in. And because of that separation, those groups became increasingly antagonistic to one another, to where I put, not like a red herring, but like, I like to put sometimes like, what do you think this means out? And it just set off those two players. They thought it, oh my god, we have to kill this person right now. And then the other players were like, no, we don't. No, yes, we do, kill them right now. No, we don't. And then all hell broke loose. And it turned into a problem. And then those two characters had to end up becoming, they both died, but one, because he went on a metaphysical journey, ended up jumping into other bodies. It was really weird. It was a hell of a game. So I had this like unkillable like bad guy that could jump into and control all of these other bodies of the hard hold that they were controlling and fighting for. So it became really interesting and a lot of fun. But it took us a while to get there, and it was just, I don't think anybody ever intended for that to happen until like fisticuffs got thrown down, and then knives got thrown down, and then bullets followed.
Yes.
There were some hurt feelings though about that.
See, that's
There were some major
thing.
hurt feelings.
See, we've had someone write in not long ago, in the last season or two. We had someone write in about where one of the players, somewhere through the adventure, ended up playing a character who was like a mole who was working against the rest of the party.
Right.
That's a dangerous thing to do, especially if you've got if the other players at the table don't know that that's even a possibility. Because then you really got a situation where people are going to feel personally betrayed or might.
Possibly.
Whereas in this situation, he handed his character over and says, "I'm going to play this NPC instead."
Yeah.
So everyone knew that, okay, this guy's gone down a dark path.
It's changing, yeah.
And he's gonna do whatever it is he's going to do.
Yeah.
But I think I don't have a problem with how this worked. I've never done this. It would be kind of cool. I mean, I've gotten close, but never actually had an NPC show back up. I mean, I've had NPCs show up. Or
PCs show up as NPCs.
Yeah.
I mean, I have PCs do terrible things all the time in my games.
Yeah, and I've had good NPCs go bad, but it's interesting having it be a PC. And I think that's a bit important point you were saying, Stu, that it was sort of, it's not necessarily given away, but it's sort of at least telegraphed to the party that, hey, this character, even if they don't expect that soon-to-be ex-PC to come back as the big bad, they know, oh, he's gone dark enough that the player is not interested in playing that anymore.
Right.
So there's at least some telegraphed or communication or the visual there for them.
It's safe to assume with most GMs you're probably going to see him.
Yeah, right. But you don't know if they're going to be like the
If
big
the game
bad.
keeps going.
Right. But you don't know if they're going to be like the big bad
No,
or whatever.
and you know what? Cheers to him for saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is a more interesting story than the storyline I was doing."
Yeah.
What do you? Was it you're supposed to kill your darlings?
Yeah, kill your darlings.
Killing. So he
I thought it
murdered.
was eat your babies.
So yeah,
I always mix it up and say kill your babies, and then people get very upset at me.
Well, eat your babies isn't better.
No, but at least it's a phrase people know.
don't you eat their feet?
What, you eat them and don't kill that?
And then, yeah, oh my god.
It keeps the meat fresh.
They're terrible. Yeah, but I think it's interesting. I do, yeah, like you were saying with the other thing though. It's if the PC keeps control of the character and plays along with it,
That's dangerous.
Yeah, it can get hard. Like we've sort of had that in a couple campaigns, like where we've had like a thief who was with the campaign and wasn't like necessarily going to be the big bad, but they have like a separate agenda and they're like stealing stuff along the way or hiding that they have something that's really important after we get to, you know, the dragon's hoard or whatever, and they steal, oh, this beautiful gem. And it's like, oh, that happens to be the biggest thing.
Right.
Well, I mean, I think it's really good for all PCs to have their own agendas.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
that they should. If you don't have your own agenda and just waiting for the GM to tell you what it is, I think that is less interesting role-playing. It's less provocative, let's say.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're just waiting for somebody to give you a thing.
100%, but there's also times where like everybody at the table knows we're going to look for the thing, and that player like knows they have the thing. They know their character has the thing.
Oh, and they're hiding it from them?
Yes.
Oh, that's some bullshit. What? We better look for it, guys.
Yeah, it's like,
And you're like 4 games of
Yeah.
looking for this thing when everybody knows you had it.
Yeah, pull the fucking...
Actually, it's
yeah.
if they didn't know you had it, that'd be, I don't know, that'd be kind of rad.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't know. Not that I'm talking about anybody specific, but don't laugh. Keep going. All right.
All right. So, anyone here familiar with Lady Blackbird?
I've read through it, and it's one of those things that people have praised to no end. I've never gotten to play it, unfortunately, but it's kind of like steampunkish, and it's written by John Harper, and he's done a lot of cool stuff that he just kind of like releases, and it is amazing. Like he did Lasers and Feelings too.
Right.
And it's just these things that like indie gamers glom onto and are awesome. And yeah, I downloaded it and I've read it, but I have not gotten to play it. So
Well, you picked the wrong. We picked the
maybe
wrong
this is the
episode.
wrong week for this.
Yeah, fuck you.
But yeah,
I'm gonna download that and check it out.
you should check out Tomes. Would definitely be the person to,
Yes.
if you're on Twitter or anything, to reach out to about that, because he loves that game and he's super a big advocate for it.
Is it more like a story game kind of thing where you're like
It's still a
taking
role playing
turns?
game, but it's a little bit kind of in the
It's kind of hippie.
yeah, it's a hippie role.
So it's like
game.
it's like Burning Man hippie, where you're like
Yeah.
you got a job,
yeah,
but
and you probably have a really nice tent that you're staying in.
you rented an RV.
Yeah. There you go.
But you're still a hippie for that
Hippie,
week.
hippie.
Right.
Yeah, you pay $500 for the tickets to be a hippie, but
And you're probably still showering twice a day.
yeah.
Because you are in the middle of the fucking desert and soldered and fog and dusty as shit.
And you have that RV.
Your RV.
And you
yeah.
have the RV, right?
Oh no, but you paid somebody to take your RV in and then you parachuted in.
There you go.
No, that's probably a little too high. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not parachute. Fast rope.
Faster. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
From a plane.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. Response about HIPAA-friendly GM from Vi or VY.
I will read this because I was there the first time.
Excellent.
All right. You know, I just got to say, I think I'm done with the Caesars.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first one was good. The second one is like,
Little too Brutus.
I'm drinking Worcestershire sauce.
Maybe mix it
I
with
know,
that
but
way.
it's just getting a little too much. Maybe I put too much in.
So now that now I have to explain what you're talking about.
Oh, this
is a podcast.
there's a show called Letterkenny, and it's on Hulu. And if you're not watching it,
You should.
watch the first 5 minutes of the first episode,
Yeah.
and you'll know whether or not you're going to like it.
If you watch any show in the last 2 months, Stu's brought it up.
Yes, it's been 2 months.
I
Really?
don't know. It
It's been a
feels
while.
like a long time.
Well,
Yeah.
they-
I'm taking a break to watch What We Do in the Shadows because
it was so good.
Right.
was
Explain
so
what
But
it is.
anyway,
Anyway, so in the later episodes they drink Caesars, which apparently is like a popular or some sort of importantly and culturally significant drink in Canada.
Are they just called Caesars? I thought it wasn't like Death of Caesar.
Well, some websites call it Bloody Caesars. On Letterkenny, they just call them Caesars.
Oh, okay.
I always thought Wayne's sister will go and says, "I'm going to make a batch of Caesars." I thought, was she going to go make salads? But no, it's actually a drink. And it's got Clamato and vodka. It's basically a Bloody Mary with Clamato instead of tomato juice. It's got a little bit of Worcestershire in it and a little bit of pepper. But the real important thing is the celery salt on the rim of the glass. And that actually really kind of makes the flavor. It really
That's
does.
what Tappy was saying too.
yeah, it's delicious. And also, Worcestershire is in both Caesar salad and the Caesar drink.
Maybe I wonder if that's why they call it a Caesar.
I'd probably not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a savory drink.
Yeah, it is savory.
Which I would not find it refreshing after like going out and picking up rocks on the farm. So anyway,
No,
that's what it is.
That's what Bud Light's for.
Or Bud Light mixed with Clamato.
Yeah, and
Chilatos.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
Chilato, right?
Oh, that's a thing. All right.
I don't know how Clamato became a thing. Like that's amazing.
It is, and it is grossly amazing. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Good day to you, Happy Jacks crew. I'm here to respond to episode 24. I'm a longtime lurker of the Happy Jacks community and listener of the podcast.
Woohoo.
I've been listening on and off since about 2009
Nice.
and felt that some things needed to be said.
That's
Okay.
like right near the beginning there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's the beginning.
Wow. Kurt and Tappy, I agree with you in that it's a good thing that the group talked about what was going on with the memory loss player. Communication is important with others in order to have healthy relationships. Not talking only helps strengthen the cracks between those in the group and conflict later down the line. Safe spaces are created through communication and trust in those around you. Here's where I assume someone would say, what if X person doesn't want to talk about X thing they're dealing with or don't feel comfortable about the situation? To which I would say, that's great. You don't have to tell me about your feelings at my table. As someone who has mental issues myself, I get it. I don't expect anyone at my gaming table to go into detail about something they're struggling with. I just want them to know, hey, if you need me, I'm here for you. Now here's where I tell HIPPA to eat a dick. Actually, it's a whole bunch of things. It could be anything. Like, it could be duck.
There's a big D.
It's a big D, and then a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be eat a disc
Yeah.
because it has this dollar sign for where the S would be for disc,
Right.
and the
Doc.
percentage symbol looks a little
Yeah.
like a K.
Well, and you know
Eat a
what?
doc.
If you had a discus like coming at you and tried to
Oh,
eat it
eat it?
in
Yeah.
the air,
Right.
that would be a terrible thing. So yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
If you are taking medication that causes major psychological or physical effects, have a deadly allergy, have a life-threatening condition, or any condition that I and the others at the table can take measures to prevent greater harm to you, fucking tell me. And that fucking tell me is in all caps, so
Yes.
that's
With
screaming.
an exclamation.
Yes.
Exclamation.
Only one explanation, so you're not like
He's not
murdering
super
you while doing
incessant.
that. But it is very, very shouty.
It's not Splattercon.
Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
That's a Dresden Files reference. I'm sorry.
I don't need you to tell me the full extent of your condition, but hell, letting those you're going to spend the next 4 to 8 hours with might want to know that you're taking medication that has a side effect of memory loss.
Yeah.
Dear God, man, what would have happened if this player went to the restroom and totally forgot where he was or why or who they came with? Hell, what if this was a Vampire the Masquerade game and the group really gets into character? If I was that player, I'd probably freak out a bit. Not to mention add a new level of stress to the group of a fear-filled, flailing nerd loose in the house. There is a level of responsibility on the individuals at the table. I agree with Kurt. It's not the GM's responsibility to avoid these situations, but as a player at the table and as a sign of respect, I do feel there is a level of responsibility to the individual to let someone know something. I do not semi-rant about this in ignorance or to get someone up in a tizzy. I do it because not having that simple talk could cost someone their life. I've had 3 situations in my gaming life where people not divulging something about a condition they had caused huge issues. First was a female gamer, let's call her Sarah, that I used to game with that had a nut allergy that can kill her. My group's not big into nut-based consumption, if you know what I mean, especially not Sarah.
Yeah.
But every few months someone gets a huge craving for something nut-based. Nut butter is the best. Nut butters are delicious.
Very
like almond butter.
And the sun butter.
Yeah, sun butter is so
good.
good.
Because we're gamers, we share.
Yeah, because you care.
Yeah.
Guess who got a mouthful of almost death? Yes, Sarah got a huge mouth of chocolate peanut butter brownie, and in short order started going to shock. Panic group of nerds trying to figure out what to do, obviously called 911, is not a smart group of nerds. After an ambulance was called, and luckily someone thought to look in a car for something to help, we found an EpiPen and put 2 and 2 together. Happy ending. Sarah's alive and fine, and now has an EpiPen stitched to her backpack at all times, just in case culinary assassination is attempted again.
Nice. That's scary, and it's hard, man. Those EpiPens, I've had to give it to a few students a couple times, and it's hard. Like, you have to you have to have a lot of strength to use those accurately. What are you looking at?
What's why?
EpiPens?
Why?
Because usually when you're giving it to somebody else, you have to get through clothes. There's like the needle.
Oh, yeah. Because I've given myself a lot of shots, and I've never had to...
No, but
It's like you got to go through the sternum?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
Like- Go get my little black medical book.
No, maybe it just feels awful because usually they're like, the first time I do it was like a first grader. So this kid's like really tiny, and it's like, all right. And it's like, and it has to be in his thigh.
Right.
And they're just like crying, and you're just like,
I was
saving your life.
I was in an emergency room, and there was a guy who he was allergic to some kind of nut.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know what it was, but he was having some mixed nuts, which he said he's never really had before.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them in there, he's eaten nuts before and never had a problem. But one of them, I don't know, who knows which one?
Yeah.
Brazil nuts, because that's never alone. It's only in mixed nuts.
Right.
Maybe.
Or could have been, well, no, hazelnuts isn't. Sometimes they are alone. Anyway,
We're not going to solve that problem.
He started his throat started swelling up. So he said definitely a reaction. He had a cousin or an uncle or someone who was staying at their house who happened to have an EpiPen. He gave himself a shot of the EpiPen because the only reason I know all this is because he was in the next bay over from me in the emergency room, and
There's a little curtain between you.
Yeah, so I'm like, listen
So you're bored and immediately start talking to a stranger.
Right. No, I'm just listening.
Just listening to all
okay.
their private information.
They ended up giving him 3 more EpiPen shots because the thing is, apparently EpiPens, it's more of a localized effect, and it doesn't spread out, I guess, very evenly. So they gave him one in his other leg and one in each arm. In order to get counteract, and within hour and a half, every swelling was gone. He was feeling better, and he was ready to go home. He was a little amped.
Yeah. Some adrenaline.
Right.
Yeah, no, I've never stuck somebody with an EpiPen. Maybe I'll get lucky, like sometimes.
I'll just call you so I never have to do it again.
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Okay, everyone, stay still. I'm going to call my golf friend Happy. He's going to come give the student the EpiPen.
Who never should be around children.
I'm not actually. Don't worry, parents.
I've given myself hundreds of shots.
Yeah.
But not through clothes.
Yeah. And you have to make sure you give it like all in one. Like it has to be all in one thing. So if there's not like oh, we didn't get all of it, go back.
Well, there's usually a little window on it, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a little thing, and it clicks.
They're spring loaded, right?
Yeah, they're like pretty. They're pretty dumb proof.
That's what my diabetes medicine I'm on right now is spring loaded.
Yeah.
It hurts to give me that shot.
Yeah.
Just a regular needle is like not a problem, but this thing it's like you're pushing, and all of a sudden, boom! It like gets past the little thing and stabs you. Right, and then it stabs you, and then it sits there, and you watch the little thing go slow. And it's of course in the refrigerator, so it's cold. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever given myself an injection. No, I don't ever give myself an injection. That's a weird feeling.
Most people probably will never give themselves unless they've got diabetes.
The sound of disbelief on Stu and I's part.
Are you sure you haven't?
The awkward silence that we never have on this podcast. And both Stu and I just stare at me like, sure, Jan.
You haven't given yourself anything intravenously medically.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
The second was me. Yes, it is true. I was that dumbass. Take jabs now, drink for honor. Second drink for glory. When I first got into the RPG hobby, I just recently moved in with my father to go to school in the Chicagoland area. With this big move came a big health problem, MRSA.
Methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureolus.
Skid Row staph.
Yeah.
That's what we call it. Because I don't want to say all of that. Yeah, it's a tough son of a bitch to get rid of.
Yep. Sometimes you have to cut it out.
Yeah. And sometimes it still is around.
Right.
Yeah, we've had a couple people we know actually get this.
Yeah. Get it from hospitals usually.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you never go to County USC.
Oh no.
Because it's like, that's where it comes from.
Right. That's where it was born, probably. That's where it evolved.
County USC is a giant hospital, like right by downtown LA, where they put people that don't have insurance. And then they just kick them out. So there's
they live around there.
Yeah, there's a gas station right there called Zombie Gas, because it's people who just got out of the hospital and they're kind of like walking around like zombies. And
you know so much more about the city we live in than I do. Thank you for educating me.
I just live right by there. Managed to keep it for 2 years.
Whoa.
During which I was a vampire. Literally, the medication I was prescribed to deal with the infection had a side effect of porphyria.
Porphyria?
Aka, the vampire disease. One of the major side effects of porphyria is light sensitivity. Exposure to direct sun causes your skin to fracture, burn, and blister fast.
Wow.
That's awesome. Sorry.
Not.
So you were like super, super, super strong antibiotics, probably.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been on antibiotics where it says, do not go in direct sunlight. I've been on those.
Yeah.
So when I first started taking the
medication, I thought nothing of it. It was a joke. Me, a vampire, blah ha ha ha. Until I got secondary sunburns all over my face, arms, and legs because it was a bright sunny Saturday, and you bet your butts I was gaming with college friends in a well-lit sunroom.
Ooh.
So it was just indirect sun.
Yeah.
Right.
I ended up going to the ER because my friend saw my legs start producing blood blisters.
Wow.
It was not a good trip, nor is the next 3 days in the ER, and my friends, were very upset with me. See, what you need to do is start oversharing, like me. Now, the last example is one that again was me, and that I'm still dealing with. I was diagnosed 2 years ago with a condition called migraine aura, or wandering migraine. This condition is devastating to me when it happens. Because of how this condition affects me, I can start slurring my speech or flat out not be able to talk, lose muscle control, causing my arms to go numb and my face to droop.
Smell toast.
Blood start running out of my nose, and
Jesus.
best of all, have temporary memory loss to the point of not being able to read or understand the people around me.
Wow.
Whoa!
What does that sound like?
What does that sound like? Does that sound scary? Do you, the reader of this email, know what to do in this situation?
You call 911.
What if I tell you it's all temporary and can just happen anytime without warning? Do you want to deal with this blindly at your table? You know, sometimes calling 911 is a bad thing. You need to know that. Like,
right.
It can put people in massive.
Oh no,
debt.
but if you don't know about something like this, reading that, I would think the person was having a stroke. If they were of the right age and maybe the right weight, I would say, holy shit, dude, you're having a stroke.
Well, and also, if you think they're having a seizure, you can call 911 and say they're having a seizure, and if they give you seizure medication and you're not having a seizure, that's real bad.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want that at all. It's a stroke. Oh, there you go. When these R's happen, I have every symptom of a stroke, except it won't kill me because it doesn't cause brain damage. But no one can see that. I've had it happen in the middle of GMing when I was a player, and last year when I was at work, and it sucks. But what sucks more is seeing my friends, coworkers, loved ones trying to help me or understand what's happening, and not know what's happening, not knowing what to do, and watching them go through the mental anguish of being helpless.
Yeah.
Because of this, I tell every table I sit at what's wrong with me. It sucks, some of the responses I get from people, especially at conventions, but I also get very positive responses from people too.
I'm sorry that you get bad reactions at the table from, especially like conventions and stuff like that.
That's lame.
Yeah,
It's
that's lame.
ridiculous. Yeah, I think it's very considerate of you and very smart to preface these things so people know how to respond in a way that's healthy for you and where they are avoiding some of the stress about wondering what it is. I think that's very brave of you too. So nice job.
And it's also probably going to save you on a lot of ambulance bills.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But also,
No, don't come. Please don't. No. That's another $20,000.
Well, I mean, you can get helicopter ambulance insurance and have them call the helicopter.
I've done that.
It's like $50 a year.
That is not fun. Don't do.
Oh, that's
To go in the helicopter.
Go in the helicopter.
Did you have helicopter insurance?
We had a lot of insurance, so
Oh, okay.
we still ended up owing like $30,000, but overall it was like 200 something grand
Right.
altogether. But thank goodness for insurance.
Yeah.
So we were very lucky to have that. And I don't even remember the helicopter ride. I'm really mad.
So you don't know if it was fun or not.
No, I was so out of it. Like I told my mom later, like I had a really, really terrible car accident when I was younger. And these guys had like just known me for like a year or something.
Yeah.
I was like 19.
And then you became way more badass.
Yeah.
Right.
So I like rolled a Jeep a bunch of times and like I was a mess. And I like later I was in the hospital and my mom was like there and I was super out of it because I was on a ton of morphine. It's like, Mom, is this a cheap hospital? And she's like, no, it's a good hospital. It's a teaching hospital. Like, why? Well, they brought me in a really noisy little ambulance and it was really loud. She's like, honey, they flew you here in a helicopter.
They gave me a flying ambulance.
Yeah, flying ambulance. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. So, that's my scary driving story. So, continue.
I now have access to, Yes, I now have access to and always carry on my rescue medication that I can take that allows me to stay cognizant of what's going on around me and be able to communicate to people so that they know what to do to help. The kick of it is I have Dan from Fear the Boot to thank for understanding my symptoms. One EP of Fear the Boot, they started talking about Dan smelling toast.
Right.
And he explained the FAST test to identify if someone is suffering from a stroke. Certainly, shortly after listening to that EP was when I first had my first migraine aura attack at work, and I saw a doctor shortly after that. Thanks for letting me respond. I apologize for the long-windedness
It's fantastic.
or any feelings or toes I may have stepped on. Here's a link if anyone suffers from migraines or curious and wants to know more. And it's a long thing from Mayo Clinic.
Very cool.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's fantastic that you are upfront and brave enough to share that with the people at your table for your own well-being, but for their well-being as well. Because when things like that happen, it's really scary, and not enough people are trained in this stuff.
I think it is a little. I mean, these are very acute things, but things like I still think the other one, like, I'm on like 7 different medications.
As am I.
Right.
I was about
and
to say.
so,
it's
like, if
I'm
I
not gonna sit
listed
down-
all
No.
of my fucking side effects,
It's not gonna fucking
like,
happen.
that's not gonna. Yeah. It's just not
Well, first off, you don't experience probably 90% of them.
right.
Because that's the whole thing about side effects. If it happens all the time, it's like, oh, this medication's no good. So, I mean, you read this list of crazy things, because I'm on diabetes medication, and I'm on cholesterol medication and high blood pressure medication, not because I have high blood pressure, but because that's necessary to protect my kidneys from one of the other fucking drugs. I'm on an injectable medication, and I'm on an acid blocker, and that's just the prescribed medications. Then there's the supplements my doctors have me take as well. And all this stuff has side effects. And if I sat down to read all the side effects, not enough time for the game, sorry.
Come back next time for a reading of my side effects.
And plus, most of them, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Dry mouth.
Well, yeah, some of them like that. But if you do have side effects that really can influence the game,
But you don't even know if you're going to have them until you have them. And you may have taken something for weeks and it hasn't affected you, and then all of a sudden, for some weird reason, it does at this one event, you can't blame someone.
No, 100%. And I think there's ways to do it that aren't like, let's sit down and talk about, all my medication stuff. Like medical bracelets are a great resource.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
if someone does collapse the table, look and see if they've got one of those first. 'Cause
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, one thing I want to piggyback on top of that is one of my medication, it has listed on a side effect memory loss.
Mm-hmm.
Now, memory loss from this isn't like, oh my god, where am I? I'm in a few, what's my name?
Mm-hmm.
It's, man, I have no fucking clue what we did last game.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I literally have no idea.
Yeah.
And so, like, that'd be weird, I think. Well,
I think that's a different, I think that's different. If there is a medication that can have more substantial...
Well, but that is
Yeah.
a substantial one. That is literally one that they talk
Yeah.
about. And the first one is... So it's like, yes, there are things, acute things,
Mm-hmm.
important things, absolutely have a bracelet on. I have friends who have medical tattoos,
Right.
on them, so that,
Absolutely.
doctors know exactly, like, what they have, or,
Yeah.
I am diabetic. I am not drunk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And those work. I mean,
Right.
those are good.
Absolutely. I have a few motorcycle riding friends that have those. Like their blood types and
Oh,
stuff like
yeah.
that are tattooed on them.
Right. Hopefully it doesn't get rubbed off.
Just
Yeah.
about to say that.
Morbid or smart. There's also another thing, and I think you're right, Tappy. There are, there's degrees of what you need to share and what you don't necessarily need to share, depending on how your medication affects you, and how long you've been taking it, and also whether you're at a table with friends who you're going to spend a ton of time with,
Right.
or like at a con game.
Oh, and also, like, all my friends know I'm crazy as fuck, and I'm on a fuck ton of, like,
No.
psych
I don't know what
meds,
you're talking about.
right? So, like, if things start going weird, if I'm drinking and things start going weird, you probably have a good idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, drug interaction.
Exactly
Yeah.
like that. So, that's exactly what it
Because
is.
almost every pill I take says do not use with alcohol.
Yeah.
Right.
And in fact, it's probably almost all pills probably say that.
Yeah.
And if you were to talk to most doctors, they're going to say, yeah, just don't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just bad for you. It's poisonous to every single part of your body. Don't do it.
It
it's
is.
not good. Also, Bill in the chat room brought up, if you have an iPhone, you can create a medical ID in the health app. That
Oh, that has the
that people
emergency.
can access without the code. So if you collapse, if you're at a convention or something like that, if you have an iPhone and you plug that in, they're able to bring up like the vital information.
Right.
So
And make a 911 call.
right,
I think.
exactly. And that I know. Actually know a friend who had a car accident and she was passed out, and they were able, because she had her phone, to know some information about her.
Right.
So yeah, that can be useful as well. So if you feel like that's the thing, if you want to sit down at the table and just say, hey, I have some medical issues. If anything happens, the information's on my phone here. This is how
Right.
you access it. That might save, if you're uncomfortable saying specifics about your condition, that's another way to do that and
Right.
make it safe. Mm-hmm. So
Excellent. Thank you for the email there.
Yeah, and especially if you have a nut allergy or something that will kill you,
Tell people.
fucking say it.
Like,
Oh,
there-
yeah.
there's so many people who have it nowadays. It's very common. There's no real stigma. Like, you should definitely do something that will keep you safe and keep people from hurting you inadvertently.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're on keto, don't say you have a carb allergy, because that is bullshit, and
That's
you
different.
shouldn't.
That's,
Like,
don't make up allergies to yeah.
That's like the. Should I even say it? Because it's
No,
going to
don't.
cause a flurry of
Yeah.
emails. Will it? Think it will?
Probably, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know what I'm
All right.
talking about.
The gluten allergies. There's people who actually have gluten allergies.
There are.
And then there's people who've self-diagnosed themselves as having gluten allergies.
Uh-huh.
And maybe some of them do,
Yeah.
and maybe not.
Yeah, there was that study that showed that most of the people who had there's a large percentage of the people who self-diagnosed as gluten allergies actually did not have a gluten allergy.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I've read that study.
Yeah. I'm sure some of them do, absolutely, but because
Oh, I know people who actually have them.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I'm sure I know people who say they have them that don't.
yes,
One a lot of people don't know that they have or not might misdiagnose that is trouble breaking down fructose.
yeah,
Really?
That's one that it's not common at all. It's,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely uncommon. But
That's almost
it-
like being lactose intolerant. A similar thing.
Yeah.
You're just not breaking it down right, and it's causing problems.
problems in your gut.
Yeah. My daughter's convinced she's lactose intolerant, so I buy lactose-free milk. But she will eat pizza all freaking day long and not have a problem.
Well, cheese doesn't necessarily have lactose in it because that stays behind.
Oh, does
because
it?
it's sugar. So if mozzarella has no sugar in it, then there's no lactose. Because lactose is a double sugar. It's
There's no
glucose.
There's no lactose
and-
in mozzarella cheese.
Well, if it says there's no carbs, there's no lactose in it. Because lactose is a double
I see-
sugar,
I see
just
what you're saying.
like sucrose.
Interesting.
It's glucose and what's the other one called? There's 3 of them: glucose, fructose, and
Galactose.
Galactose. Yeah.
Wow, I just pulled that out of like high school biology.
Impressive.
Useful.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember as like Galactus, but
Yeah.
because
Right.
it's like awesome, but it really is kind of like the shittiest of the simple sugars.
All right,
All right.
email-based RPGs.
Email-based RPGs from Alan in Knoxville. Hey there, Alan from Knoxville. I think it was supposed to be hey there from Alan in Knoxville, but that's cool. A question
This was
and
me. Hey there, Alan from Knoxville. That's what it's supposed to be.
sorry.
And I do it like the guy
Punctuation.
from Letterkenny.
Punctuation. All right. A question and a shout-out request. Recently, things in my life took a turn for the worse, and all motivation regarding role-playing faded quickly. Through this difficult time, one person has stuck with me, and it is the brightest part of my life. We decided to give role-playing a try together, but due to scheduling issues, we've had to turn to email/text-based role-playing. My question is to you, what advice can you share for someone who is doing not only a text-based RPG, but also a one-on-one game? And now for my shout-out request. Or let's stop there, and then we'll do the shout-out request. So advice?
So basically, you're just kind of like writing a story together,
Kinda.
right? Because you're not. Is it more of like a GM and role player, or are you both playing characters and kind of writing a story together?
Yeah.
Because if you're doing that, like read on how to write a story, because that can be a lot of fun.
I think a lot of us kind of, like at least me and my friends, I know a lot of us got started with role-playing forums back in the day. Like online, before like we got into MMOs and stuff like that, like going back and forth. And I mean...
Yeah, when video calls were something for Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. Before, there's no way. And the modem still made all the weird noises when you dialed up and all that stuff. You're from my age. No, yeah, my students cannot believe there was a time where like the internet wasn't just like all the place. It's crazy.
You had to call the internet up on a phone.
Yeah,
and it was
like,
called a BBS, and it was one
They
computer.
don't even know what a landline is. Like they have no concept of what that is.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we watched this was my class last year. We watched a video, and there was like the corded phone that was attached to the thing, and they're just like, "Miss Malcolm, what is that?" It's like phone. They're like, "Why is it got a string on it?" It's like, oh my god.
Do they make like an aux jack for like a regular old like phone thing, so you can plug it into your like cell phone and have
that would
the
be
old school
awesome.
phone?
Yeah.
They may make a case that has that on it.
Maybe, I don't know.
One thing that I would suggest for my days back and then, have different, it depends on how you're doing it. If you're doing like a story together, I don't have as much advice for that because I haven't written stories, but if you're doing back and forth role play, have different color text or different style text so you can tell the difference between the two people going back and forth.
Also, bold or italics for when someone is talking
Yeah.
works a lot better than quotation marks, I find.
Yes, absolutely. Or we see the little stars, the little asterisks on both
Right.
sides. That meant that it was a description of an action instead, which I still sometimes fucking do. And now with markdowns, it makes it italic and everything. It's messed up. People who see me on the forums are like, "Why is that part italic?" And because I'm acting it out. It's bad. Sorry. That's a little-
Also, is it like a forum game where you post and wait for the other person to go, or are you on at the same time texting to each other?
Well, I said it was a scheduling
Yeah.
problem, so I'm assuming
Okay.
it's not in real time.
Don't write too much, but also stay away from really short responses that the other person has nothing to
Yeah.
Right.
write on. But yeah, don't also do 3 pages. That's also bad. Oh, and power posing sucks. Don't do that.
What's power posing?
That's when you tell the other person what their character is doing.
Yeah. Yeah, be careful about that.
Shouldn't do that in any role playing game.
You shouldn't. But
Yeah,
it's easy.
in this, it's easy to accidentally do it
Yeah.
because
Right.
you want to say what you're going to do when the other person does the thing, and you want to do it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, she walked up to him and he put his arms around her, like, so things like that. It's,
Right.
That was kind of role playing games today. But yeah, so it's really easy to accidentally fall into that trap where you become the narrator for both characters, and just be careful of that. Or one of the things you can do is you can do an agreement. Like, this is the type of thing you can include in the part you're writing about my character, like these types of actions, like nodding or whatever. And that can be like, okay, and then just be patient is another thing. It can be really hard when you do a post and you're really excited and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, can't wait to see what happens, and then like the person is stuck at work and you're just like 8 hours later, why did they answer? But yeah, chill out, it's fine.
I mean,
Yeah.
be ready for it to take a long time.
Yeah.
Unless you both have like some sort of notification and you're like super up on getting to it as soon as
That's
possible.
a smart idea, like having some sort of notification.
Yeah, it's email, right?
Yeah.
Like an email, yeah.
I mean, I don't get my email notification. I barely look at the thing,
Oh my
so
God.
it's a problem.
So much email.
Well, I was dumb and like didn't make a separate email for all like the spam things you sign up for, so I turned my email notifications off.
Yeah. Now a lot of times when we role played back in the day, we did chat, so it was like instant in part of it. I wonder if you could almost do that now with like a Google Doc, where you could one person types and then like the next
if you
person
happen to
types.
be on at the same time.
Yeah, like if you ever had a scheduling time where you could both do it, and then you still have a record of what you typed. It's not necessarily like a chat where it disappears, or a Slack where after a while it's gone. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. So
That's the worst part about Slack, that things like disappear.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
After a certain
Well, you
amount
can, it's only $12 a month per user to get that to stop.
of time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're not paying that.
No.
No.
I don't. I bet you no one's paying that.
No, probably not. Big
I think
companies
they are
pay.
for companies,
Yeah, big companies pay that. No problem. All right. Cool.
Yeah,
I think that's all the advice I have.
Yes. Let me just remind you.
Oh wait, there's a thing at the thing.
No, there's a
go
shout out
ahead.
request.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And now for my shout out request. Her character's name is Whiskey Radford. So, Whiskey Radford, thank you for being the best part of my life, and I look forward to the adventures we'll have in game and in our future together. Thanks, guys, in advance for the advice.
Woot.
Woot.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Easy Roller Dice, Kickstarter, microfiber, self-standing reversible dice bags. Go to their Kickstarter. You can go to happyjacks.org/Easy Roller Dice Bags, and I've already set it up.
Yay!
It's already working.
Do it
That's
right
what I was
now.
typing when you guys were
Yeah.
talking. So it's already set up. So thank you very much to EasyRollerDice.com for sponsoring this episode. If you'd like to support the show, support our sponsors.
Yes.
It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
And then let them know that you like are a fan of our show, so they know who's buying their stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they track that stuff.
Yeah.
But even if they don't, you just let them know. Say, yeah. But thank you very much for joining us, and I'll play the song out.
Yay! Do the thing.
Do the thing with the stuff.
And thank you for joining us for season 25, episode 3 of Happy Jacks RPG Podcast. My name is Stu.
My name is Kenny.
And I'm Tappy.
And we'll be at a game convention next weekend. August
Oh, yeah.
30th, 31st, September 1st and 2nd. LAX Hilton Hotel, strategicon.net for information. And we'll be doing the show, a live con show. Sorry for those of you who hate when we do live con shows. At 8 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday. There's a lot of people that hate when we do live con shows.
They are getting better.
They are getting better.
They are massively better than they used to be, and we actually have some like good informative discussion
Yes.
about what it's like to run games.
We've been trying to get more of that than people bragging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
And also, thank you to EasyRollerDice.com and go to happyjacks.org/EasyRollerDiceBags for their Kickstarter. It's already funded, but it's only going to get better. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And we'll leave you with a song.
Spellbook bag.
And I'll leave you with a song from, what is it? Crime, Betrayal, and
Other
Horror, my
The
EP.
the album you named.
The album I named that I
Yeah.
can't remember the name of. I should have picked a shorter name.
You should have.
And thank you very much. And I'll leave you with one of them.
You should name it.
Arg!
Unless you're playing D&D and then they'll give you crap. If I told you the things I've seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. I've lived 1,000 lives, I piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single role. If I sang a song to you from my trail of the struggles and ordeals and travail, would you listen till the end? Could you even comprehend? I've lived 1,000 lives, I piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single role.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.
Bum, 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 bum.